And yes, I'm live. Good morning, everyone. Um, I usually make a lot of videos about cryptocurrencies and world events, but today I'm making a video that I want people to seriously consider. You can see I'm not in a real happy mood today. Good morning, Perosi. Thanks for logging in. Um, and guys, I'd like your feedback below or in the comment section on this video because it's not, in my opinion, going to be the world's happiest video. I know I'm here in Florida visiting my mother, but it's nothing to be concerned with her. It's more about the world. So I don't even know where to begin here. Um, so I listen to a variety of news channels, independent as well as mainstream, and I try to collect information and analyze it the best that I can. Right. Um, Thanks, Prosy. I'll try to get a little more energy here. I'll try to be a little more upbeat. Sorry. All right. So some of the broadcasts that I listen to are saying that we need to get the economy up and going, and that you know, yeah, people are going to die from the coronavirus and this, that, and the other thing. And at first, I didn't get it. I didn't understand it because I've been watching a lot of videos where they're saying you've got to level the curve so it doesn't get out of control and so hospitals don't get overrun, which does absolutely make sense. However, and I heard these people talk about this about maybe 3 or 4 days ago, and I couldn't understand how they were for letting people go back to work and spread the disease and make more people sick and die. And I didn't understand it. And then I listened to Donald Trump speak yesterday, and he was talking about, is the cure going to be worse than the disease? And I really was thinking about it, and I slept. And again, I had one of these thoughts of, I I like to give all the credit to God because I don't know if any of this is true or going to make sense. That's why I want to brainstorm. I want to talk to people about this. But it's all right. Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, he's the president of the United States. And what do presidents do when there's a crisis? They get in rooms full of the smartest people, and they brainstorm, and they call it war gaming. They pick out best case scenario out of everything, worst case scenario. What are the options? What if this happens? What if we get a cure unexpected? What if we go into a depression? What if we save lives here but lose lives there? Now, I hate to say it, but we're going to lose a lot of people. We're going to lose millions of people in America. And one way or the other, we're going to lose millions of people. And I strongly believe after wargaming this, and this was not an easy decision by any means, you can tell that when he's been speaking, especially the few days before this, he wouldn't stay on the stage very long. He had a very heavy heart. People thought maybe he even had the coronavirus. Well, I think he's come to the harsh reality that he had to make a decision that no one really wants to make, but he is the person in power. He is the president, and he had to make a decision. So I believe when they war game this, there's the two basic scenarios are: one, we quarantine everyone like China did and slow the curve. There's still going to be people that die from this, maybe a million, maybe hundreds of thousands, which is still a lot, but it's not the end of the world. It's terrible. None of it's a good situation. But the economy could crash. If the economy crashes and we go into a depression, See, people, I'm not even worried about the price of Bitcoin, the stock market, gold, silver, any of that right now. I'm more concerned about safety and living. Um, this is going to be a two-part video. The first one I'm going to make, excuse me, I'm very choked up about this whole thing, is going to be about the problem and how you're going to come to a solution. The second part is going to be how do we make sure that this doesn't happen again, and what are the causes of this. Um, so, like I said, the first case scenario, we quarantine people. There's probably a very high 90+% chance that the country will go into a depression. Okay. Now, I would say practically all of us, if not all of us, unless you're over 100 years old, have not, around 100 years old, you haven't lived through a depression. We had a recession in 2008, and that was rough, and people were, you know, freaked out over that if they didn't have a job, right? A depression is a recession times 10, but we're not just talking about a normal depression that we would have here. I'm talking about a depression where there's going to be food shortages. It's going to make the last depression look tame. There's more people. So here's what happens if we go into a depression. I told you what happens if we go the route where we um, flatten the curve and have not many people die from the virus that way. If we go into a depression, we're still going to have people dying from this virus. We may actually have more people die from this virus than if we tried to flatten the curve. Um, Hospitals are going to be overrun. There's not going to be much food, even though we supply a lot of food, unless Americans pull together like we can. If you have the ability right now to plant a small garden, it doesn't need to be a huge garden. It doesn't even need to be enough to feed you. It just needs to be enough to help, right? Even if you just grow some tomatoes or some potatoes or some broccoli, whatever. If you only grow tomatoes and then your neighbor only grows broccoli and the other one down the street grows potatoes, at least you can trade with each other and have some food. This will lighten the load on the people that have to supply the food for the world. Okay. You're going to see crime go through the roof. I don't own a gun, but and I don't even know how hard it's going to be to get a gun right now, because from what I hear, they're running out. The lines are out the doors. It's hard to get. You might even be in a state where it's really hard to get a gun. I also like to war game the scenario if someone else had won the election and what things would be like, how martial law would be cracking down. God, it's so much. I can't even. It would take me an hour to talk about it. Basically, what I'm saying is, if we go into a depression, if we flatten the curve, a couple 100,000 people, maybe a million people will die from the virus. If we go into a depression, more than likely tens of millions of people in America will die. That's the easiest way to put it. Is it better to have a few million people die or tens of millions of people die? It's not an easy choice because nobody wants anyone to die. But even if we flatten the curve, who's to say the curve won't spike again? We've got to keep production going in America, and it's going to cost people lives because the virus is going to spread and it's going to infect people and it's going to get people sick. Some people will just carry it and not feel many symptoms at all. Some people will get a little bit sick. Some people will have trouble breathing and recover quickly. Some people will need to be hospitalized and put on ventilators, and they'll recover. Some people will recover but have lifelong breathing and respiratory issues, and some people are just going to flat out die. There's no two ways about it. But if we go into a depression and have this virus ravage the country, there's gonna, like I said, people are. And in the last depression, they say 7 million people died uh, from malnutrition and starvation, and that was with 20% of the population that we have now. Now, and back then, people knew how to farm. People knew how to hunt. People were in communities that helped each other. Now, everybody wants to be separate by themselves and do their own thing. Now we idolize people who flash their crotches on the screen at the Super Bowl, and we don't know how to do anything. We don't even make our own medicine here. I have a strong feeling China is going to um, cut off the medicine supply to America. I have a feeling that this is more than just a virus by coincidence. I have a feeling that this is an attack on America. And people say, well, the whole world is affected by this. Yes, true. But every country knows that America will not go down without their country being destroyed as well. The only way, sometime you have to sacrifice some of your own people to win a battle. Okay, if anyone has seen the movie 300, where at the end where the Greeks finally lose is when they send the Persians send in a bunch of people to fight the Greeks, the ones that were left. And while they were fighting, they just rained arrows down on the battle, knowing that they were going to kill their own troops, but knowing they were also going to kill the Greeks. And that was the main goal, was to kill the Greeks. I've got a strange feeling something like that is going on right now, that countries are willing to sacrifice their own people to bring America to its knees. They know we're fat, we're overweight, we're lazy, we're unhealthy, we eat junk food, we rely on McDonald's as sources of food. We don't produce anything, we don't have our own medicine, we don't make steel to even make weapons with if we needed to fight. If another president was in power, guaranteed when she put us into martial law, that it wouldn't be American troops patrolling the streets. It would be UN troops, and more than likely Chinese troops patrolling the street that would eventually take your weapons away and eventually enslave America and bring America to its downfall. So guys, things are going to get rough here. Things are going to get bad. People are all happy. Yay, we got this stimulus. Yay, we're going to get some money. Yay, they're going to bail out the businesses. This is a temporary fix, guys. This is a Band-Aid on a massive gash. There's no way that they would approve a $2 billion spending plan, and they're talking about $6 trillion spending plan, unless they knew that shit was real bad. All right. This isn't a joke. This isn't, hey, look at them. They're printing money again. Everybody's laughing about it, guys. This is our lives. This is our country. The world as we know is going to end, and it's not going to take long, unfortunately. And that's why I'm so choked up today, is because even though, I have my things to complain about, I'd rather have cryptocurrencies go to zero and have everyone be safe and healthy than to make $1 million in cryptocurrency and be able to afford things and not be able to help anybody because there's no way to help, because there's no options left. How good would you feel driving a Lambo down the street past a bunch of homeless people starving and dying of sicknesses and starvation? I would feel like a piece of crap. Um, so I do believe this is a bigger takeover plan, and part two of my video is what we really need to do. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go ahead and do one video here. All right. So what I think we need to do, because this is just it's like, Dr. Evil in Austin Powers, I've got this laser that's going to blow up this country and that country is if you don't submit to me, give me $1 million and $1 billion, $1 trillion, whatever it may be. This is, I believe, six sociopaths that have had a plan for years on how they're going to do this. I think, and I believe the government, hopefully, they're already doing this, but there's so many traitors in the government, so many people just looking out for their pocketbooks that will sell out the plans or the strategies for some money. Um, Plans like this take time to plan out. They're slow moving, they're slow rolling, and when the time is right, they strike. I don't think they were planning on having Trump in office. If Hillary was in office, this would be a lot easier for them to bring down America than it's going to be because we are fighters, we are resilient. That's one thing about Americans. We may be a little bit out of shape, but when we get in shape and when we're ready to go, you better believe you better bring your lunch because it's not going to be an easy battle. Um, all right, so first of all, we know where this virus was created. It was created in the University of North Carolina. We need to start bringing people out of that facility and interrogating them. We need to stop where these types of threats are coming from. All right, we need to not just bring them to a room and question them for half an hour. We need answers. We need dark room, bare light bulb, hard chair, hard table in front of them. Don't let them out until you get answers type of interrogation. We need to bring in, we need to get serious in interrogating China as to how this spread. I know we're not going to get very far there, but we need to put pressure on them, as much pressure as we possibly can. We need to round up individuals who have been talking about bringing America to its knees for the last 5 to 10 years. We need to bring in the George Soroses and interrogate them. We need to bring in his son. We need to bring in Hillary Clinton. We need to, there's a whole list of people we need to bring in, and the government knows who these people are. We need to bring in the Ted Turners, the Bill Gates. We need to interrogate these people and not let them go until we get answers. We need to, as much surveillance as they have on each and every one of us, we need to have on them. Because if the other person was in power right now, each and every one of us, I'll tell you how it would work. Okay, coronavirus is here. We need to lock everything down. Now we need to do martial law because the streets are not safe. We can't let people out. One, two, crime is rising. We need to bring in martial law. They'll start with some American troops, but then they may send American troops to another country that needs help. Italy or Spain, one of these other countries where the virus is out of hand. They're going to bring UN troops in, mainly Chinese troops, to patrol our streets. And as you know, Chinese people are very cold and callous, don't care about people. They live or die. They butcher animals alive in their markets. You can look up videos, or not videos, pictures of people being butchered alive on the Chinese street because they didn't agree with the government. So they're going to get some hardcore Chinese communist troops to start patrolling our streets. The next thing they're going to do is declare people are robbing, killing, and stealing. We need to take the guns away. Once the guns go, we have no way at all to fight back. Then the roundups will begin at the same time that the gun confiscation begins. rounding you up, bringing you into. Now you can watch videos on this. I believe they're still on YouTube, although I haven't checked in a few years. Of they ordered millions and millions of coffins, rubber coffins for people. They also ordered hundreds of thousands of guillotines. They're going to start executing people that are dissidents, people that are anti what they're doing, pretty much patriots, and a lot of Republicans, a lot of conservatives, a lot of libertarians, because those people are just problems. And then once most of the people are in line and um, or pro, the other side, those people will then be enslaved. They'll be enslaved to work. And let's go back to the days of ancient Egypt, where they built shrines and pyramids, gold statues, and giant marble arches and things in dedication to their gods, who their gods would be the people who are in charge of this whole thing right now. I just named a whole bunch of them. There's more, but you get the idea. And that's how quickly it can go from last month eating at a nice restaurant and ordering any kind of food you can imagine off the menu, holding your wife's hand, taking a walk, coming home, and you know, America to what it could be. I'm not gonna lie about that.